Well, hi there, slot car fans. This is my final update before I head off to the US for the 2025 US Slot.It Nationals. I've been doing lots of testing, as you know, and this video is just going to be basically a quick summary of that testing as far as it goes. So I've been testing, as you know, cars, hand controllers, and a bit of track testing as well, just to see if I can get the characteristics of the raceway, Cunningham Raceway that we'll be using in the US, see if I can replicate a little bit of that over here. So with no more delay, I will just show you where I am, because you've seen this venue before already. It's the Sydney Motorsport Park, and I'm in one of the hospitality suites where I've got the track behind me, as you can see, set up just for testing purposes. So I've not been doing any testing today. To be honest with you, my trigger finger is a bit worn out. But there's plenty going on today. There's actually some track time going on, so I'm going to just flip the camera, hopefully going to flip it, and you'll see that there are some cars on the track, and it's just a regular track day, and those guys are clearly having a great time because they keep going by and by and by, and there's all sorts out there. There's Mustangs, there's Golf GTIs, there's Subaru and Toyota 86s, and a few Porsche 911s as well. So some people are having a great time, and as you can see, the weather's lovely, really nice. And as I say, the testing that I've done so far, this is the results of this testing that I've been doing is going to be what I take with me to the US. So I'm going to show you through that. I'm just going to pivot, and I'm going to go first into the controllers, because the controllers is probably the easiest one to deal with. In that it's very much as I suspected, a throw-in as well. So these are the three main contenders. You've got the DeFalco, my good old trusty DeFalco, which I'm struggling to let go of, the True Speed, and I've just put some color-coded knobs on for my own purposes there, and the DS from Scale Auto, which is a bit of an outsider. Now, as I've said already, I've chosen to reject the plus one. Not that it's not a good controller, it is, but I just feel that with the controls being menu driven, they're not that accessible during a race, and I don't really want to be learning that on a race in unfamiliar territory as well, so I'm going to forego that one. So going back to these three, the one that I've chosen to reject first of all is the DS. I'm too new to it. It is a nice controller. It has a characteristic that I don't think will be compatible with the raceway, the Cunningham Raceway in Electric Dreams for the Nationals, and that is its mid-range punch, which is very difficult to turn down. You can see I've turned the knobs down I've actually got one up and one down there. The green knobs they're the speed control, and the mid-range punch is just too much. The Group C Slot.It is a very finely balanced car, which is what makes it so rewarding when you get it right. And this controller, I think, is more suited to long can motors rather than the short can that we'll be using in the Group C. So I don't want to put too much time and effort into this controller for this race. It's a nice controller, very smooth, very simple, lots to like about it, but I just don't think it's compatible with what we're going to be racing at the Cunningham Raceway. So that leaves us with these two, and I'm going to take both of them. I think I'm going to end up with the DeFalco, and the reason I say that is because there are so many options with the True Speed. To get to know those options and to understand how they respond and how to get the best out of them is not going to be something I learn in a month. I could use it every day and still be learning new stuff about it, I'm sure. And with the Group C being a very specific type of car from Slot.It, finely balanced, lightweight, the speed comes from smoothness. It doesn't come from powering through and stuff like that. So this is going to be my backup controller. I'm going to take it with me because there is a chance that it might have some features that I might be able to exploit after talking to the guys over there who also use the True Speed, and there's a few of those. So I'm going to take it with me, and it'll be my backup, and I can set it up like a DeFalco if I need to. But if I want consistent lap time over the course of a heat, and if I want that peak lap time for qualifying, I think for me the DeFalco is where it's at. And the reason I say that is because I've been using it for 14 years or so, and my brain and my trigger finger are just so wired in with that. And also, if I make a change, I know exactly what the type of change is that I'm making, and I also know how much of a change it's making just by what percentage around the dial I go with changing the pots on the top there. So it's a safe option, and my backup will be the true speed, as I say. And if I get some steering from the guys over there to say, oh well, if you use this, then it does that, and if you want to help your braking or your traction or your exit speed, these are the controls to use. If I find that I can actually turn that into a reliable lap time benefit, then that's going to give me a headache, but a good one. So right now, first choice DeFalco, second choice true speed, and the DS will stay at home. So that's controllers. Now let's talk about cars, because I've been busy preparing my cars, and here they are. These are the 3 cars I've settled on now. As you know, I had 9 cars to start off with, and I've whittled it down to these 3. The 4th one, I will mention just quickly. It's a shame I'm not taking it. It's the Rothmans Porsche 956, the Jochen Mass car, or the Stefan Beloff car, whichever way you want to look at it. But it wasn't quite on point like these ones are. So the first one you can see there, that's the Nissan. That's the one with the additional ballast in it. And believe it or not, even with the additional ballast, it is still a quick car. So it's 4 grams heavier than the other cars, which is quite a lot on a 70-gram car, but it's smooth. I'm using the chassis from last year because that was actually a freakily good chassis with a new body. So the body is optimized for these rules. It's a nice car to drive, surprisingly quick. I don't know what it's going to behave like on the Cunningham Raceway Electric Dreams. It could end up being very tippy. It might end up being, just a nice car. Now, this is my own paint job, done, in my favourite Martini colours, and yeah, it's actually the body that I raced in the Australian Nationals, the Group C category. So I know it actually sits on a chassis nicely. So that's the Nissan. Yeah, I'll test it, and it's got to make its way. It's got to survive. It's got to win by performing. The next car is the Lancia, the LC285, and again another paint job that I've done based on the Group 5 car of a similar era, the Lancia Beta Monte Carlo, which some of you will know. I just did my own version of it on the Group C. This car's nice. It's bang on the weight limit. It's 4 grams lighter than the Nissan, and because of that, the punch out of the corners and the braking are just a little bit sharper and crisper. The Nissan still got slightly better handling, but this one over 1 lap is just a tiny bit quicker. And I'll need to make a decision when I get closer to the event. Do I want that 1 lap pace, or do I want the race pace? So that's the Lancia. So both would be eligible for the concourse, obviously, as is the last one. And the last one is a Jaguar XJR10. That's the long wheelbase Jag. And this is my own paint job. Slot.It don't do the silk cut paint job yet. I believe it's actually the next release. So they do the Budweiser, they do the Castrol. I think they do a couple of Castrol's, don't they? But this one is my own paint job. It's the silk cut. It did actually race in this livery a few times, I think in the European Series, the FIA European Series, and also in the US as well. I've had to take a bit of license because the decals don't fit very well. So that rear wing is my design. It never raced like that at all, but I just had to do something. And also the headlights, they're not 100% accurate. But it's a race car. So yeah, that's what it is. So again, eligible for the concourse. This car is a strange car because it's naturally heavy because of the size of the thing. But also, this car's just smooth. It just handles. It's a nice car. I've not tried this body on it yet. I ran with an old body, a Budweiser body, and it was very quick and very consistent. So I've got high hopes for this car. Now, when I get to the US, obviously what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all 3 on the track, and I'm going to see which one I like best. Part of me hopes that I can go for the Jag, because I'd like to think that one's going to do better in the concourse. Part of me wants to go for the Lancia because I've got a feeling that one's going to qualify best of the 3. And obviously I'd like to go with a Nissan just purely from a familiarity perspective. But look, you know, performance is everything, and I have to basically go with what I think is going to give me the best race result. To be frank, pole position is nice, you know, fingers crossed I'm in a position to talk like that. I really don't know. I might end up 10th, I don't know. I might end up 20th, I might end up 75th, who knows. But pole position would be nice, you know, a good grid position would be nice. But only the top 3 give you an advantage of that automatic advancement to the semi-finals. So pole position, yeah, you know, but it doesn't guarantee you anything other than a semi-final spot. So it may be that if the Lancia doesn't show the same race pace and consistency and smoothness that the other 2 do, you know, I won't be racing it. And you have to qualify the same car that you race. So, and I think that goes for the concourse as well. You know, so you have to make a decision based on what you think is going to give you the best race result. And for me, you know, we're going to be tired on that day. It's the 4th day of competition. It's a long day. It's August in LA, so it's hot, and you know, we're all going to be tired. So I think a good handling car on the day is going to be at a premium over a good qualifying car. I'll review that decision when I get there, because if it turns out during practice that one of the cars, you know, has got a good turn of speed in qualifying trim, then I will contemplate the idea of, you know, going for a good grid position. A good grid position does give you some small advantages, but they are very small, and those advantages can be overcome by a good performance in race trim. So there you have it. I have selected my controllers, and I have selected my cars. I'll be taking lots of spares with me, a spare motor pod, spare components, you know, screws, slot guides, wires, braids, all the usual stuff. I will be taking my DeFalco and all of its different personality chips, the resistor packs, resistor networks, which DeFalco are well known for, and they do make a big difference to how you feel about whether you've got the car under your control or not. Rather than have a real peaky car, you can actually put in a slightly more dull resistor pack, and it will actually tame the car down a little bit for you, which is a nice feature, really nice feature. So there you go. Lots of testing been done. I'm tired. I need a rest. There's been a lot of effort to put these cars together. All 3 cars are quick. I mean, very quick for our environment. What that translates to when I get to the US, I really don't know. You know, I could be running midfield, I could be in the lower half. I hope I'm going to be in the upper half, but I really don't know. I'm going to have a lot of fun finding out though. So there you go. Now you know as much as I do. I'm not going to be putting another video together, I don't think, until I get over to the US, and those are going to be short and sweet, because obviously I'm going to be preoccupied with the race event itself. So there you go, that's it. Last thing is a cookie, and this one is slot car related, and it's a little bit obvious if you think about it. The race event in the US is going to be live streamed. So Electric Dreams, the organisers, the hosts, they will be putting together a YouTube live stream, as they do with a lot of their events, and they're excellent. And for the 2025 USA Slot.It Nationals, they're going to town. They will have commentators, Ian and Doug, who you've probably seen before. They'll have help from Carlos, one of the guys there in the store, with the camera work. They'll have Mark Natividad, who does the, if you like, the sort of the hosting of the race in front of camera. And it's going to be a really well covered event. Seriously well worth watching the live stream. So my cookie, my recommendation is close to the race day, which is the Sunday, the date of which I've already forgotten, but I think it may be the 3rd. Check that out. But it's the Sunday, and on YouTube they'll have the live stream lined up, pre-lined up, ready to go. So just do a search for 2025 Slot.It USA Nationals, and you'll get taken to the live stream. Now you're going to have to look at the time differences. Obviously, in Australia, in New Zealand, you're going to be, between 17 and 20 hours ahead. So you're going to be on a Monday before you can start watching the race. The rest of the world, Europe, let's talk about Europe, let's talk about South Africa, those time zones. You're going to need to be thinking in terms of being about 9 hours ahead, I believe, of LA, and obviously LA, and Hawaii, etc. You know better than I do what your time zone difference is going to be for the race. It's a long live stream, it'll be all day. You don't have to watch it live. They publish it obviously afterwards as well, and you can pick it up afterwards. So don't think that you have to stay up overnight if you're in the wrong time zone. Just go and pick it up afterwards. But it's well worth a watch. If you're watching the live stream, please go into the comments section and put a thumbs up or whatever for your favorite racer. If it's not me, don't worry. If it's not me, pick your favorite racer and cheer them on, and put some comments in there, encouraging them to do the best they can. That would be awesome. It's a great event, it really is, and hopefully that'll come across in the video. So there you go. That's the cookie. That's the suggestion. You just need to wait till Sunday for it to be there. I should mention also the qualifying sessions and even the practice sessions are also live streamed. The practice sessions, I've got to be honest, they're a little bit dry, but the qualifying is obviously an hour or an hour plus of pretty intense lap times. Each driver gets a minute or whatever to complete a number of laps, and the best lap is what the qualifying time is. So that can be quite entertaining to watch. So yeah, have fun with that one. I'm going to sign off, look after each other, and you know what I always say at this point in time, do something kind for somebody today. Okay, cheers now, bye.